So here we are out in the workshop after work, and I made this little gnome house. I've used the papercrete clay on here, and I just coated it on top of a little vase. Now this tutorial is in the YouTube. I'll put the link to that particular tutorial here, but I did have a viewer let me know that she would like to know my painting process. So this is a little tricky for me because it's hard for me to like talk and give instruction as I'm painting. And so I hope you'll bear with me. I hope we'll get this done for you. So what I want you to notice here, one of the first things I do as I start off on most any of my painting projects is I hit all of the crevices that I want to be shadowed right here with some black paint. Now you could use brown, you could use any dark color. I like to use black. So, and what I'm going to do is that just kind of helps me remember. I'm just going to kind of leave that and not really coat it with a lot of the other color. And that's going to help guide me into getting the shading that I want on this project. I've also covered the door in a black wash. So just acrylic paint with some water. And I've just covered all of those little places. I haven't done this one yet, so we're going to do this one together. But I've covered everything that I'm going to want some black undertones to with some black wash. So again, just acrylic paint, black paint, and water. Okay, so I've chosen for this particular little gnome house, I'm going to do the base, kind of a beige color, some browns and beiges. And this, I've made it like a little upside down flower. So of course this will be tones of green, and I'm going to do purple because I think I really like these little gnome houses in purple. And so that's what we're going to work on right here. All right, so let's pull this down here where you can kind of see what and I don't have a turntable here. I should get a turntable. All right. Got my turntable now so you can be able to see a little bit better. And I'm kind of a messy painter too. I'm going to end up with it all over my hands. I already have because I'm just already messy. I always keep a towel in my lap. I've got my apron on. I keep a towel in my lap because I know I'm going to take this brush after I rinse it out, and I know I'm going to do this. I know I'm just going to do it. So I'm going to have my towel in my lap. I also know I'm going to have a paper towel here that I'm also going to dab paints on. So I just kind of go everywhere. But here's we're going to start out with a nice, again, a lot of water on that brush. Okay. Get that where you can see it. And our little window over here that doesn't have anything on it yet. A lot of water because I don't really want it to be super black. So I'm just going to do a nice wash. And that's going to soak right into the cement. So I just keep adding water. Notice I'm not adding any extra paint. And then I'm going to use my towel that I've got here and wipe off any extra. So it's just getting down into those crevices. Get it up under the roof there. This is just inexpensive brushes. I get them at the Dollar Tree because the cement's pretty coarse. And so I'm not using really fine art brushes. I have a set. They're in my tabletop easel under this desk here. These are inexpensive brushes that I'm using for the project. Okay, so this is what I've got going. See, just like that. So that's what I've done here to the door. I did this morning, so you can see this is what it's going to look like when it's pretty set and dried. Do I want to put any more here? I might want to put a little more here. All right, so that job's done. So that's pretty easy to do. And then of course, now we're going to start kind of just applying color. It's a couple of things you can do here. You can use a primer and paint this all, you know, with the primer. I actually like the paint to soak into the cement. It acts as a nice sealer for it. And I just like the tones that I get with it soaking into the cement. It gives me some of those darker tones that I want, and then I can pop it out with some lighter highlights. So this is what we're going to do. And we're just going to start off with a dark green. I start with my dark colors and then work lighter. And I'm just outlining. There we go. Now remember, my black markings help me remember not to go. I could even do this and the brush jumps right over that black outline and just kind of blends a little green in there. So that's just one of those little steps you can do. It's kind of doing a little, almost like a dry brush technique, but it's not a dry brush. But I'm just going to go right over, see, just right over. I want that crevice there, but I don't want it like super defined, right? So as we work, you'll see how I do it. I'm not an expert teacher at this. I'm not an art teacher, really. So, I hope this is all making some sense. Now, a lot of artists will paint their cement creations and just have the one color, and that's all good. As I've done painting for several years. I've been, doing all kinds of art since I was just a young kid, and I've just always liked adding the different shades to get dimension on my projects. Not to get like a realistic look, but just to give it some dimension and some interest rather than just flat green. So here we've got this pretty much all covered with the green paint. There we go. And it's starting to soak in some spots, you can see. But I still want to be able to work with it while it's a little bit wet. So I got to rinse my brush, dry it off. And then I'm going to, okay, and now I'm going to use lighter shade of green. So I'm now going to start playing with the light and dark. So you'll see me pick up some black. You'll see me pick up some nice light green, a lime green here that I've got. And we're just going to start playing with the shading now. I want to get my right size brush. So if I'm just going to hit this with a really bright green, but you're going to see it starting to blend because the green that's on here is still wet. So everywhere I think that the sun is shining on here, so that's these raised spots. All of these little raised spots right here, those will all have some lighter green on it. The top here where the sun is going to have some lighter green on it. When we get down here, this is going to have some hit with a little lighter green right here on those tendrils, like that. Okay, so this is what you're seeing me do. It's just a lime green, and again, use the colors you like and the colors that you have. I'm not going to give you like specific colors because I'm using all different kinds of paints, and so that would be expensive. These are things I have sitting around all the time. So, but just get your palette of different shades of green, different shades of browns, different shades of, those primary colors. Get different shades and hues. Don't just think, oh, I'll get one shade of green and mix white with it. That's going to look pretty flat. You're actually going to want to get 2 or 3 shades of some of these different colors so that it just really pops out. Okay. That because I am pretty frugal, thrifty, cheap. Choose one. And I used to just think, oh, I'll just get these. I'll mix it with white. It'll look great. And it was fine, but just looked too harsh, and I didn't like how it turned out. I just decided, you know, we're gonna bite the bullet, buy the right paint shades, and then I'll be able to do about anything I want, because I know the color palettes that I like, and you might not like my same color palettes, so go with what you like. So you can see how this is starting to blend in. And if I put, oh my goodness, it's too much. Well, look, finger painting. And I can blend it in. Use your tools. Your hands are your best art tools, right? We all know that. So I'm going to bring that straight down this way, because that whole thing is going to get light. Okay, then under here, this little crick here, that's going to be getting no sun, right? And so I'm going to add just a little dab of black to mix with the green under there and give it that shading. If I pick up some green and the black together, that's going to give me what I want. I don't want it black, I just want it dark green. There we go. And then we're going to take that leftover dark green paint that's on our brush, and we're going to start working it down onto the edges of these tendrils and into some of the little crevices. Right here, we want some in those foldy places. Right there. It's just a lot of blending. I just love it. I think secretly I would like to have an airbrush, but I don't know how to use one, and so I do it with my paintbrush. There's that dark green right there in those crevices, just right there. I use my smaller brush now. So all I'm doing now is just getting the edges of these tendrils. And then I'm just hitting the center of these little raised places with that very bright green. Just kind of hitting it there, just to make it pop out a little bit more. And I'm just coming back over the top now with my original green. I know you're not able to see it really do much, but what it's doing is actually softening the edges of that bright yellow. So I don't want really hard lines. Everything is blended almost as if you're using an airbrush. That's kind of what I'm looking for, where it's all just blended together. I like that. You can blend a lot nicer if you do have a drier brush. It's because if your brush is too wet, then it just kind of washes everything around. But if your brush is dry, you'll be able to do a lot more of this nice detailed blending like I've got here. I like this. I'm just going back and touching any place that has harsh lines between the dark and the light. Ooh, I like that. All right. Get very excited sometimes. So now the fun part, you know, the green is fun, but I really love this purple that I've got here. So I'm really excited to kind of play with that a little bit. And we're going to do the same type of thing. I've got this nice dark green. I've got, sorry, this nice dark purple. And I've got this light purple. I've got my black sitting here. And those are the shades I'm going to be using. Okay, so as usual, I'm starting with my dark, going right up into these dark crevices where this paint is going to start to soak into the cement, and that black is going to come forward, all right, because I'm working with a thin paint. I start out thin, and then I just layer color. Anybody here have a problem when you've got one color coming up next to another color and getting those lines straight? It was hard when I was young and had steady hands. Harder now that I'm old and my hands aren't as steady. And so that's what, this is pretty cool. So these darker shaded, how can I get that in there so you can see? There we go. So these darker, where the black is there, and that's a shadow. You don't have to have those straight lines because there's a shadow there. Okay. Tip of the day. Took me 100 years to figure that one out. All right. Nobody was sitting on YouTube, you know, 40 years ago when I was learning how to do this. Showing me how. I couldn't afford a class. I went to the library, got all my how-to books. Anybody out there feeling me? Right. I think we were all doing that at the same time. There we go. So we're just going to cover the whole flower in the purple, and then I'm going to come back and do the highlights, okay? So I'm not doing anything fancy here. Adding the purple paint. Wash my brush. You know, another fun thing to know that in the bottom of my paint can, I have one of those wire dish scrubbies, like those copper ones or the little metal, the silver ones. That way that helps clean my brushes. It's the bottom of that, of my paint can. I don't know if that's a tip for anybody, but I just learned that one just a couple years ago. Probably from somebody on YouTube. So let's just keep going with this. I'll try to shut up now for a little while. Get this on here. So we're back around now to where we started. And I don't know if you can see it very well, but you can, but right here where I started, you can just see how the paint, the purple paint is soaked in, and you can see just the black coming forward. And that's what we want. We want those shadows in there. All right. So we're going to flip this upside. This is dry now because it's acrylic paint. So we're going to flip this upside down. Let's do this. Does anybody? The smarter thing The smarter thing to do would be to paint this side first. I never do. I know I should, but I never do. Whose day is it to watch me? Come on, guys. All right, so we need a little more paint here. Definitely would be the smarter thing to do this before you paint this, and maybe it's not dry, and now you got to wait for it to dry before you do the under part. So we're just doing all the way up to the edge of our little house part there. And then we're going to hit it with some black shading. So you're not going to see where there won't be a line, a harsh line between the purple flower and the beige pot. It's hard to say which part I like the most. I do like creating these things. I hate sanding. But I really enjoy adding the color. And then there's some things I don't add color to at all because I just like it in the cement. But these little gnome houses have to be painted, of course. Now, there's little crevice right there that I can't quite get my brush into. And so I'm just going to water my paint down so it will actually run down there. There you go. Give you some little cheating tips. Maybe you already know those things that I just learned. All right. So we've got it all covered in the dark purple now. And so now we go back in and we'll add in the even darker purple that we're going to mix with the black to get in all of those deep recesses. I love this color. This is such a pretty color. I don't know, but I like it. All right, there we go. So a little bit of, I'm going to take some of my paint, put it here on my palette, and then just bring in a little black, not a lot, a little bit, because I'm just going to now put in the shadows, except I want my smaller brush. Now I'm getting my dry brush so I can blend that. Getting that? So I put it on and then I wiped almost all the paint off. I didn't wash it. I'm just drying off my brush. And then I can blend that wet paint and it'll give me a nice soft shadow. If it's too dark, I can go back in and put some purple paint on top of it. That's what I'm looking for, just like that. So I'm going to go around. See, paint on the finger. So I'm going to go around and I'm going to do that to all of the little spaces here, just putting in the shading, okay? So some of the dark purple a little bit of black with my smaller brush. We're just going in here and putting in the shadows. Okay, so that looks pretty good. And now we're going to come back in with the light pink and do some highlights just like we did here with the green. Okay, so you should be able to know that any place that is going to be hit by the sun, so the edges, right, is where we're going to be putting most of the highlights. We're not going to be putting any highlights up inside here. The sun's not shining there. Okay. So think, where is that sun? Where is the sun more likely to be hitting? And then that's where we're going to put our lighter purple highlights. I like how that looks. I think that's good. So we're going to go ahead and put some shadows in under here. Where the purple paint will meet the beige. We don't want that harsh line, so we're blending it out into just underneath the little roof here. So now this guy, I'm going to start with a darker brown and beiges. The door will be brown because it's wooden. These rocks will be more gray. That's around here, right? So I've got rocks here around the window, and of course the little wooden window sashes there will be brown. The body of it will be a beige, but we're going to go ahead and put a brown on first, because you know that's what I like to do. I like to start with the darks and work out to the lights. Okay, so some watered down brown is going to go on first. Oh, look, my brush has I got a little touch of green in it, but that's okay. This is nature. So it can have green in it if it wants to. So I'm just going to put some touches of brown here. A little watered it down. It's meeting up with that black and purple that's underneath, so it's just all shaded. This door needs a little bit more black under it. I want that definition, so I'm really making sure I get some good black in there. That's going to have to dry some more. I've got my paint here is all dry, and I'm going to just dip my brush in a little bit of that brown paint and take some off. So again, we're using this dry brush method, and I'm just going to go straight across. I don't want to get any brown paint inside the little crevices of the door, because I want that to look like little boards. Okay, so here's where I'm going to take the brown, dark brown paint and mix it with a beige to lighten it up just a little bit. I keep getting into the green. There we go. Now it's minding me. See? This is the effect we're going for, right there. Don't worry about anything else. That's all going to get covered up with other paint, so it's okay if you get it on the rocks or on the doorknob. All of it's fine. Remember, it's gnomes. They don't care. So there's one step for the door, right? We will come back and do some more on that door. So let's come over and do our windowsill here. So we're just going to take that same paint that I still have left on my brush, and I'm just going to paint the windowsill. Just like that. And I'm going to turn it over and I'm going to do the other side. And if you can tell, I'm making sure it's lighter at the top and it's darker at the bottom. So I'm not really covering the bottom part with this paint. I'm just getting the top part, because that's where the sun would shine, right? That's what we're thinking. We're keeping that in our mind. That's where the sun will shine. It's all about darks and lights. That's what gives interest. Now I've got a little bit more of that paint on my brush, and I'm just going to go a few more swipes across. And I'm not making it all one color, right? I might even add just a little touch, not much, a little touch of orange. Dry brush, just a little touch. I'm taking off the extra. So, and I'm just hitting it in a couple of places. We have a gnome door. All right. I'm going to take my smaller brush now, and we're going to work on these rocks around here. I like to make my rocks gray. I know rocks are all different colors, but since this is beige, this is brown on the windows and the door, I want these rocks to be a different color, so I'm going to make them gray. That green keeps getting in my way. Okay, we're going to start off with a darker gray, and then we'll get lighter. This is where I don't want to get on the door, so I am going to be careful there. It's almost a black, but it's a dark gray. I'm just making a little shadow here around the door. These rocks for the beige to blend into later. Okay, so I've got my dark gray on there. Now we're going to come back and make a light gray. Coming along, coming along. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I like my bling. So I will almost always make the doorknob and the hinges a nice flashy gold. There we go. Now we don't want it to look too new. And so again, I'm just hitting the top with the gold and I'm just dragging it down. So it'll all have a little shimmer, but the top will have the biggest gold impact. I like that. All right. Oh boy. Okay. Now the windows. We're going to do the rocks around the windows. I think we're all good there. So let's go ahead and do that. All right. Okay. Now we're going to paint the body. So this guy, I just want him to be just a light color. So I'm just picking up just a little touch of brown on the corner of my brush to blend the ivory into the black. You want that black to still come through and be the shading, but we don't want it to be super harsh. So I'm using just a little bit of brown to soften that ivory. Soften that edge right there. And just like any house painting, you go back and do touch-ups. Painted a few houses in my time, inside and out. It's expensive to have it done. Pick up a little of this brown, come back up, have it blend in with the black. Again, you want to put paint on your brush and then take it off your brush. So you've got a nice dry brush with a little color to do that blending. That's the secret. It's having a little paint on and then take the paint off to blend. Oh, I love this. This is coming out really nice. We're just blending it right up into the roof, where the roof meets. And you see how some of that brown is still showing through. I want that. touch up some of that purple. I got the white paint on it. I've got just a little dab of pink here. I think we'll add, there we go. Don't even really know that that's a pink that's there once it's all blended in. It just gives me that pop I'm looking for. That's it. I like that better than the light purple. I know on camera you might not be able to see the big difference. But this little hit of bright pink is just setting these edges off the way I want them to. It's colors, layered, and more layers of color is what gives you the depth that you want in your pieces. It just looks nice to have the detail and all of the different depths of color on it. I just love how that turns out. Let's see here. And there you go. That's my painting technique. Well, this has been fun. It wasn't too tricky to talk. I hope I didn't talk too much, and I hope I gave you enough information that you can replicate this. Again, find your own color palettes that you enjoy. You want to be able to make things that you like, and so maybe this isn't your favorite color. But so you can do anything you like using these techniques. Please let me know how it works for you. I love hearing from you how things work, how they're not working. Benna, can you show us how to do this? I will try to do that for you. I'm not an expert, but I do enjoy doing it, and I do enjoy sharing. So thank you for watching. I hope this was helpful. I'll see you later.